Holy cow. I don't know if you can see the humidity in the air out there, but it looks like we're in a freaking cloud. That's how bad the humidity is here. I think I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on. Oh yeah, definitely sneezing. So yesterday was an interesting afternoon. I was in my leather shop making this. Here, let me back that up. There we go. Yeah, I was making this, and while I was in there, I kept smelling something dead, and I got to thinking about my cat. My cat lives on this end of the trailer underneath there. Well, on the end of the trailer, I've got a ventilation hole cut in, because that trailer, when I bought this place, it really stunk under there because it was so damp. So I cut a whole bunch of ventilation holes all around the trailer, and I just happen to have a ventilation hole on that end down there. And I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna have to go home and get a flashlight and look in them holes and see if I can see something dead. And I'm hoping it wasn't a cat, because the cat is very old, and I just fed her, by the way. She's eating right now up above us. That's why I call her Roof Cat. So yeah, I'm in the leather shop working, and God, it stinks in there. Now here's it's a little embarrassing, but it's kind of funny, and it's more funny than it is embarrassing, so I'm going to tell you. Yeah, I'm rolling around in there thinking to myself how bad it smells, and then I roll over something in my chair. Now this is after about a half an hour of being in there, right? I roll over something in my chair, and I look down, and there's this weird thing on the floor, and I bend over and pick it up, and what do you think it is but my colostomy bag? My colostomy bag fell off. And let me stop a minute and tell you that we have been experimenting with different colostomy bags. I'm an active guy. I do a lot of things. As a matter of fact, it won't be long, I'll be down the hill there cutting a tree up, and won't be long, I'll be down the hill here putting 700 feet of fence up. So I'm also a fat guy, so I sweat a lot. And as you can see, we've got not just humidity, but we live in clouds here. So I sweat a lot, and these bags do not stick long when you start sweating. But that's not why the bag come off. We've been experimenting with different bags, and we have some of these companies these warehouses that send out medical equipment, they will give you samples, and we have been getting different samples to see what works best for me, what I like, what is easiest to remove and replace and dispose of and empty. So they sent us these 2-piece bags, and I kind of knew right away they weren't going to work for me, but I don't want to waste them. They're very expensive. These bags are expensive, so I'm using up the bags that I don't really like and holding off on the bags that I do like. And the bags that I do like stick good, and I can feel comfortable going out in public with them and not worrying about them leaking or coming off or anything like that. So I save those for when I really need them, to like go to the doctor's or somewhere in public. And I'm using up the bags I don't like here because I'm close to a bathroom. I got a bathroom right here, and I got a bathroom at the house. So anyway, that bag fell off, and that dead animal smell, yeah, that was me. That was me, and I had a good laugh. And okay, that was the beginning of my afternoon. So I grab a bunch of paper towels, right? Grab a bunch of paper towels, I cover up my stoma, I grab the bag, I wrap it up in paper towels, and my wife is down the hill here mowing, and I get her attention because I'm going to need a little help, because I got to keep this paper towel covering my stoma so I don't have any more accidents coming out. And I got to change clothes. I got to shower. I mean, you know, it's just unpleasant, but thank God it happened here. So I get her attention and we go home, and you know, I get cleaned up and I change clothes and I put a new bag on, and then I sit out in the front porch with my wife and I drink a cup of coffee. And the whole time I'm out there, I'm thinking, oh, I left my phone down in the shop. There's Lucy Bell. Here's my Lucy Bell. Hold on, I'm going to open this back door so she can come in the air conditioning. One second. All right, I let her in the back door and she just went out the front door. I guess she didn't want to be in here. So I'm sitting there drinking coffee and I'm thinking, yeah, I left my phone down there in the shop. I drink my coffee and my wife goes back to doing what she was doing, and I wander back down here. I'm going to finish this sheath, and I look for my phone, and it is nowhere to be found. So I get a little bit panicky because I just can't afford to buy another phone. And I mean, at that point, I didn't think that it was lost, but you know, those thoughts go through your head. So I tear my shop apart. I go, that's my leather shop is right there on that end of the house, and where I'm at now is actually where I make the knives. And I tear that leather shop apart. I go through the garbage. I took the garbage can outside to my big garbage can, and I slowly rake the stuff out of the garbage can to see if maybe I had been bending over my garbage can when I was spraying the dye on this sheath here. I bent over it and picked something out of the garbage can that I dropped. So I thought, well, maybe I dropped my phone in the garbage can. So it's not there. Okay, now I'm getting a little panicky. I come in this knife shop and I just scour. I look in garbage. I look on every flat surface. I go in the kitchen and I can't find it. I go back to my leather shop and I can't find it. So I thought, well, maybe I brought it home and I didn't realize it, because it was kind of a, you know, I had a leak and I had to, you know, it was not a pleasant situation and I had a lot of things going on at once. So maybe I actually did bring it to the house and I left it in the house. So I walk back up to the house and I scour the house, and I had taken the garbage out before coming back here. I had taken the garbage out and threw it in a big garbage can. So it was nowhere in the house. So I looked in the washing machine to see if I left it in my shirt that I had just changed. And it wasn't in my shirt. So I took all the laundry out of the washing machine to see if I had left it in there. It wasn't in there. Okay, now I am panicking. This phone here that I'm recording on was, I think, $1,100 or $1,250. And I couldn't replace it. So I come back down here and I go back through everything. Can't find it. So now my wife has this knack of finding things all our life together, 34 years. If I drop something in the grass and I can't find it, I'll get my wife, and within a few seconds she sees it. She's got like eagle eyes or something. So anyway, I go find my wife. She's outside the gate picking up sticks and working outside the yard there. And I tell her, look, I have got a real tragedy and I need you to help me find my phone. So we look in the house. She does everything that I've done, backtracks and looks at places that I've been. And so she picks up her phone and she calls my phone. Well, I never leave my ringer on. I hate a ringing phone. And if I don't answer my phone, I don't care if it's important. You'll leave a message. And if you really want to get a hold of me, you'll text me. And when it's convenient, I'll reply or read it. So I don't care about a ringing phone. But it does vibrate when the ringer is off. So she calls my phone and we hear the vibration. And I'm looking and looking and looking. So at least I have some sense of relief that it's somewhere near me because I can hear the vibration. You know where this SOB was? Right here in this phone stand. I got you in, not a tripod, but here, I'll take you out. Right here. And I remembered what I had done was I had this thing, when I was dyeing that sheath, I had this thing showing me. It was like over the trash can in this. showing me die in the sheath. Oh man, what I tell you, panic had set in by, it was 2 hours of me walking back and forth from here to the house, and then going and getting my wife, and then her coming and retracing my steps. 2 hours and getting more and more, I guess the word is panicky, because definitely, everything is on this phone. All the knife pictures are on this phone. I pay my bills, I get my messages, I have my website that I control, my YouTube channel I control from this phone. Everything, my entire life is right inside this little black electronic device. So yeah, I got panicky. And so I sat down, and my wife sat down, and we had a little discussion. And she said, I didn't want to tell you this, but you are having some obvious memory issues. And I didn't argue with her because I didn't want to tell her this, but I am absolutely having memory issues. And when I really noticed it was somebody ordered a neck knife, right? And I came right out here. First knife I've made since I got home from the hospital. Let me back up a little bit. The operation I had, I was in surgery under anesthesia for 8 hours, which is a very long time. And anesthesia on older folks, especially, I'm older, has a real effect, long-lasting effect. Not on everybody, but when it does affect you this way, it's longer lasting. Well, anyway, we talked about my memory, and I said, yeah, when I noticed that something wasn't right, somebody ordered a knife, and I went and got the wrong knife and started making it, and was halfway through before I realized that's not the knife he asked for. And then other things like I've had this really nice desert ironwood, and I put it away, and I forgot I had it. And here's another. This is my last piece of presentation grade desert ironwood. I bought 3 of them, and I forgot I bought 3 of them. I thought I had 1 of them. And so, forget little things that just are not terribly important. But like when my wife and I go somewhere, she has to tell me constantly where we're going because I just keep forgetting. And there's another symptom. I have tremors in my hands, and it is getting a little better, but there's something called post-operation cognitive disorder, and it involves memory loss. There's also something, and there's another abbreviation, acronym for it, and basically it's, tremors and shakes, and they call it shivers. Well, when I first got out of the hospital and came home, I definitely had shivers. I mean, I would shake so uncontrollably that I couldn't stand up. And it is directly related to anesthesia. Yeah, one time I was at the kitchen sink and doing something, and I just got these shivers and shakes, and it made me so weak that I had to hold onto the counter and hold myself up. And since then, it's gotten better and better and better. Now I just have tremors in my hands, and when I'm doing something with my hands is when it really shows up. And I'm Italian, so, I use my hands all the time. I can't talk. If you were to tie my hands up, I couldn't talk. Well, anyway, yeah, I'm definitely experiencing some memory loss, and it's a little aggravating, but it does get better, and the older you are, the longer it takes to get over it, both the tremors and the memory loss, and it's directly related to coming out of anesthesia. And the longer you're under anesthesia, the higher the likelihood is that you'll experience these after effects if you're older. So there you go. That's a whole lot of talking, but I just thought I'd tell you what my day was like. All right, I've got a tiny neck knife, my smallest neck knife cut out, and I'm going to use this little sliver, which is just thick enough. This is that presentation burl, and this is what it looks like all shined up. This is sold, by the way, and I'm going to put the edge on this. And that's what that presentation burl looks like. And that's what this will look like on that neck knife, all shined up. And I'm thinking about, no, I can't. I was thinking about shining this up, but I can't because it's going in a Kydex sheath, and just going in and out of the Kydex will scratch it. So, but I will make it a very shiny satin finish that will stand up to going in and out of the Kydex, and this will be shiny as well. Okay, and 105 for this. This is my smallest neck knife, 105 including shipping. I'm going to work on this, then I'm going to work on this. Have a good Monday, y'all. Thanks for listening if you got this far. I just got done warning the person who bought this to be very careful because it is just scary sharp. And I put the last coat of wax on it before I shipped it. And yeah, it's very, very sharp. Very sharp. So you even got to be careful when you put it in the sheath that you're not cutting threads and all that. So just be careful. It's sharp. I almost hesitate to make them this sharp because I don't think people expect a knife to come out of the sheath that sharp. And I've got a whole new technique. This one and this one are brand new. This is just a spare. But these are all diamond, and they're kind of expensive, but they are worth it. Like these two were $50. This gray and the purple, $50. But they're worth it. And I get about, a dozen or 15 knives sharpened out of this. And this is original because it's super fine. And this I've replaced once. So these three together are about $75. And this here I've never replaced because it's super fine, and you really want it to wear in a little bit. Damn it, it won't stop. And anyway, this knife is done. Fixing to start working on this. I was sitting in a bar with a friend of mine, and I noticed these two old coots, these old drunks sitting at the bar, and I pointed to them and I said to him, my friend, I said, "That's going to be us in 20 years. He said, "You idiot, that's a mirror." Here we go. That's what it looks like. I'm going to use these Mosaic pins, which I don't buy Mosaic pins anymore because they're so freaking expensive. And I had to admit to myself that in my early days of knife making, the only reason I used Mosaic pins back then is because the look, I hadn't refined my knife making technique, and they didn't look as good as I wanted them to, and Mosaic pins added a little bit of purdy to them. And as I improved in knife making, I didn't feel like I needed to fake your eye out with Mosaic pins anymore. Don't get me wrong, on a beautiful knife, Mosaic pins do add, but I had to be honest with myself that the only reason I was using Mosaic pins was to improve the appearance of knives that I wasn't quite happy with their appearance. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I do use Mosaic pins, I'm really happy with the knife, and the Mosaic pins just add a little bit of flair to it. So I would use Mosaic pins, but they're just so expensive now. About 8 or 10 years ago, when knife making took off and everybody started making knives, at the beginning you could get Mosaic pins for $20 for 12 inches of Mosaic, quarter-inch pin. This is an 1/8 inch. And now it's about $50 for 6 inches of Mosaic pin. And it's just not worth. You can't add that much money to the cost of a knife. You're already into it, a couple of $100, and I mean, not to mention my cost and the sandpaper and the labor and the time and the electricity and on and on and on. Then you add Mosaic pins into it, and you're just, you're breaking even on getting rid of these knives. So, all right, I'm done. I'm going to sand these up to 320. Today is Sunday. I'm going to call it a day. So if you've watched 20 minutes of me talking, thank you very much. Have a great Monday, and we'll see you soon.